which means turn it upside down. So if you have something to the -1, just flip it upside down. More formally, inverting a number is known as taking its reciprocal. Reciprocal. So for instance, 4 to the -1 power. 4 to the -1 power would just be 1 over 4. 4 to the -1 is 1 over 4. You just flip it. You do the reciprocal. 2/3 to the -1 would be 3 over 2. You flip it. It means reciprocal. -3 over 5 to the -1, that would just be -5 over 3. Okay, see how I kept this a negative sign? That's all you do. You keep everything, but you flip it. Now, 2 to the -3. To figure out what this is, first you would flip it, so it would be 1/2, and then to the power of 3. Well, if you recall, a quotient to a power, you raise the numerator and then the denominator. So it'd be 1 to the power of 3 over 2 to the power of 3. All right, let's be paying attention. You should be writing this down. Well, 1 to the power of 3 is 1, and 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So your final answer is 1 over 8. Now, another way you could have done this, 2 to the -3. Let me show you another way. And you pick whichever way makes the most sense to you. 2 to the -3, you can do 2 to the 3rd first, which is 8, and then since it's a negative, make it 1 over 8. You just have to remember to flip it when you're done. Okay, so if you have a negative exponent, just do 2 to the 3rd first, and then flip it. So like if I had 2 to the 5th, -5, 2 to the 5th is 32, and then just flip it, 1 over 32. The negative just means to flip it. Okay, whichever way makes the most sense. Which way do y'all prefer? Do you prefer me to do it this way that I just showed you? Or do you prefer me to like work it out like how I'm supposed to and show each step? Anyone have a preference?
The quicker one.
Okay. This one here, -5 to the -2. First, do -5 squared. What's -5 squared? No, positive 25. You didn't put your -5 in parentheses. A negative times a negative is a positive. So it's positive 25, and since it was -2, it's going to be 1 over 25. That's all the negative means, is to flip it. So once you get your answer, flip it. Now, number 6 is 8d to the -3. This d to the -3 is only talking about the d. It's not talking about the 8. So the 8 stays in the numerator, but the d goes to the bottom. So it would be 8 over d to the 3rd. And that 3 becomes a positive. Okay, let's be paying attention, please. You should not be talking. Okay. Number 7, -4 times a to the power of -5. Only the a is being raised to the -5. So that would be -4 over a to the 5th power. When you move it to the denominator, you make it a positive. Number 8, the only thing raised to a negative power is x. So you get 7y to the 7th over x to the 4th. Okay, we should be writing this down. You need to sit up in your seat the right way before you break it. And you need to be writing this down as I write it down so you don't get behind.
Yeah.
Number 9, 4ab to the -3. The only thing raised to the negative power is b. So 4a gets to stay where it's at, and b to the 3rd goes on bottom. All right, now that we've done about 2 lines of examples, what questions do you have for me so far about negative exponents? So negative exponent just means move it to the bottom. Okay, number 10, -25, c to the -2, d to the 3, e to the -4. Which ones do I need to move to the bottom? Alan. Which letters? Okay, So negative exponents mean to move it to the bottom. So the ones that need to be moved to the bottom are the ones that have a negative exponent. So out of these, which ones have negative exponents? C does. Is there another one? C and E. So C and E need to be moved to the bottom. So negative 25 and D to the third get to stay at the top. And then C squared times and E to the fourth go on bottom. So it's negative 25D to the third over C squared E to the fourth. Now this one's, look at this one. It's 1 over X to the negative 4. It's to a negative exponent, but it's on the bottom. What do you think I would do there? How would I switch it? Where would I put it? You would put it on the top. So since it's already on the bottom and it's negative, just move it to the top. So now it becomes X to the 4th. What about number 12? Does anyone think they know what that answer is going to be? Daniel, what do you think it's going to be? With the 6? And what's going to be with that X? What's going to be my exponent? 8, positive 8. So it's going to be 6X to the 8. Number 13, X to the negative 2, Y to the negative 3. Ooh. Alexis, what do you think is going to happen on this one? Well, that would only be if they were the same, if it was X and X, but they're X and Y. So they're both raised to a negative exponent. So what does it mean when you have a negative exponent? What do you need to do? How am I going to make it a positive? You got to do something to make it a positive. Okay, let's look back here. Look at number 10. The C to the negative 2 had a negative exponent. So what happened to that C squared? Where did I put it to make it a positive? Alexis, where did that C squared go? On number 10. Yeah, it went to the bottom. Because if you notice, look at number 6. D to the negative 3. Where did I put that to make that a positive 3? I put it on the bottom. Okay. What about this one that was already on the bottom? The X to the negative 4. Where did I have to move it to? To the top. So if it's negative, you just got to switch it. If it's on the bottom, move it to the top. And if it's on the top, move it to the bottom. So this X is to a negative 2 power, and it's on the top. So where is it going to move to? And what about this Y to the negative 3? It's a negative, and it's on the bottom. Where is it going to move to? Say that again. To the top. So the X is going to move to the bottom, and the Y is going to move to the top. So you're going to have Y to the third over X to the second. So they just flipped because they were both negative. All right, number 14. Now, when you have a coefficient, 7 over 9, what you need to do first is see if you can reduce 7 over 9. Can I reduce 7 over 9? No. So let's leave that as 7 over 9. Now check your variables and see if you need to move anything. Anybody see anything that I need to move? Gavin? Where do I need to move it to? What's on the bottom? Move it to the top. What about that Y? What's going to happen to it? It's going to stay. And it's going to be 7y z to the third over 9. What about number 15? Does anybody see any well, no, first I need to reduce. This would be 9 over 1, so that's good. The 9's good. Anybody see any negative exponents that I need to flip around? Trenton, you see any negative exponents on number 15?
Yeah.
Which ones have negative exponents? So what am I going to do with the A? It's already at the top. And what am I going to do with this C?
Move it to the top.
Okay, so that's going to leave me with 9b c to the third over a squared d squared. Now, guys, it doesn't really matter which order you put like the variables in, the b and the c. You could have put 9c to the third times b. I like to put it in alphabetical order, so I would put the b before the c. Here I put the a before the d, so I did a squared b squared. All right, number 16. Caleb, you see anything that I'm going to have to move there?
The A, the B, the C, and the D.
I only move ones that have a negative exponent. Does that d have a negative exponent?
No,
No, so it stays where it's at. Where is the a and the b going to move to?
the bottom.
So the a and the b are going to move to the bottom. What about the c? Where is it going to move to?
It'll move up top.
So I'm going to have c to the fourth on top, and then I'm going to have a to the third, b to the third, d on bottom. And number 17, ooh, they have coefficients. N, can I simplify 6 over negative 7? No, so that stays as 6 over negative 7. N, what about the exponents? You see any negative exponents that I need to take care of? Which one? And what am I going to do with that g? I'm going to flip it over to the bottom. So I'm going to have 6h on top, and I'm going to have negative 7 g to the fourth j on the bottom. So, what did you get from negative exponents? Tell me. You gotta flip them. You gotta flip them. If they're on the top, you put it on the bottom. If it's on the bottom, you put it on the top. What if it's a number to a negative exponent? What do? What if it says 6 to the negative 3? Alex, tell me how you would do that. 6 to the negative 3. What would you do?
I don't even know.
Okay, so the one we did was 5 to the negative 2. So first we did 5 to the second, because negative 2, the numbers are 2. We did 5 squared, which is 25. And then the negative number just told us to do 1 over 25. So if I had 2 to the fourth negative 4, first thing you're going to do, type in your calculator 2 to the fourth. And tell me what you get.
16.
So what you're going to do, but instead of putting 16, since it's a negative 4, you're going to do 1 over 16. Okay? So now tell me, what do you think you're going to do with 6 to the negative 3?
Do 1 over 216.
Y'all agree with that? Mm-hmm. There you go. All right, and if it's a variable, if it's on top, move it to the bottom. If it's on the bottom, move it to the top. Before you get your assignment, what questions do you have for me? Yes. As long as you're working and I can't hear your music. This worksheet, you're going to have the rest of the class to work on it. Use your notes that we just took to complete the worksheet. Those of you in alt school, I'm not sure if you have this worksheet. The notes, you can just do them on notebook paper. But the worksheet, I'm going to send you a picture of it, and you can write your answers on notebook paper, or you can print the worksheet off. It's up to you, and do it on the worksheet. But I'm going to send them to you through email, and then when you're finished, you will send them back to me. All Colin, is there anyone else with you in pre-algebra that's up there? All right, I sent y'all the worksheet. You should be getting it on your email.